You've probably heard gardeners say you should toss banana peels right into your soil because they're full of potassium. It sounds easy, it sounds harmless, but after running a simple 60-day experiment, I found a few surprises that might change how you think about using kitchen scraps in the garden. Some results helped the plants, others didn't, and one outcome honestly made me stop and rethink a habit I'd had for years. Before you add another peel to your garden, you'll want to see what really happens beneath the soil line. Welcome back to Rootly Gardening. I'm glad you're here because today we're digging into what actually happens when you bury banana peels in your beds or containers. We're looking at plant growth, soil changes, pests, moisture, and even the timing of decomposition. You'll see what improves your soil and what quietly creates problems you might not notice for weeks. Meanwhile, near the end of this video, I'll share a small detail about how a banana peel breaks down that even experienced gardeners often overlook, and that detail can make the difference between stronger roots and stunted growth. It's simple, but it's hidden, and once you learn it, you'll never look at banana peels the same way again.
When I start any garden experiment, I like to keep things simple so the results are clear. That's exactly how this one begins. I set up 3 groups of plants, all with the same soil, the same containers, the same watering schedule, and the same light. The only difference between them is how I use the banana peels. One group gets whole peels buried a couple of inches below the soil surface. Another group gets chopped peels mixed into the top layer. The last group gets nothing at all, which gives us a clean baseline. I choose young but sturdy plants because they show changes faster, and I use a quick-growing species so I don't spend all season waiting for differences to appear. Meanwhile, I keep everything in the same spot to avoid changes in sunlight or temperature messing with the results. If you've ever run an experiment at home, you know how easily small things can throw off a conclusion. Next, I prepare the soil so every container begins level. I use a rich but balanced mix, something that drains well but still holds moisture. I don't add fertilizer before planting because fertilizer would hide the impact of the banana peels. I want the plants to tell me, with their leaves and growth and overall posture, exactly what the peels do. When all the containers match, I plant each one with care, pressing the soil in gently around the young roots. I water everything evenly, making sure the soil is moist but not soggy, because soggy soil can cause root rot and skew our results. Right away, the peels start to behave in their own strange way. Whole peels stay firm for several days before softening. Chopped peels begin to break down much faster. You may already guess that the rate of decay matters, but seeing it happen in real time shows just how different the two methods are. Meanwhile, I watch the soil around the buried whole peel darken sooner than the soil elsewhere, which suggests moisture collects along the peel's edges. That moisture looks harmless at first, but it can affect oxygen movement around the roots if the peel sits in the wrong place. As the first week passes, I notice something many gardeners report without knowing the reason. The chopped peel soil starts to smell a little sweet, almost like overripe fruit, while the whole peel container doesn't smell as strong. It's a minor detail, but it's tied to the surface area of the peel. The more exposed area, the faster microbes move in and start their work. Microbes break down organic matter and make nutrients available to plants, but they also need nitrogen to do their job. This means they can actually steal nitrogen from your soil while they chew through something like a banana peel. I want you to remember that because it becomes important later. By day 10, all the plants look healthy, but small differences appear. The baseline group, the one with no peels, has steady and predictable growth. The chopped peel plants look a little perkier, but their soil dries a bit slower. The whole peel plants seem fine, but their soil shows uneven moisture near the peel zone. I check the roots very gently near the edge of the container without disturbing the plant. Roots in the chopped peel soil spread out evenly. Roots near the whole peel sometimes take a detour around it, creating a small curve instead of pushing straight through. It's a tiny curve, but it tells me the peel is acting as a physical barrier before it softens. Meanwhile, I also begin checking for insect activity.
Banana peels can attract pests like fruit flies, fungus gnats, and sometimes even ants if conditions are right. The chopped peel container has a couple of curious fungus gnats hovering nearby by day 12. The whole peel container stays clean for now. The baseline container looks exactly like you'd expect, calm, plain, and uneventful. I keep a close eye on this because pests play a real role in whether banana peels belong in your garden. Many gardeners assume the peels always bring pests, but the truth is that it depends on moisture, temperature, and how the peel sits in the soil. As days 15 through 20 roll in, the test gets more interesting. The chopped peel plants grow the fastest, at least on the surface. Their leaves look bright, their stems stand tall, and they seem excited about life. But I know that fast growth can sometimes come with hidden trade-offs. Meanwhile, the plants with whole peels grow steadily, but not faster than the baseline. Their leaves look healthy and their color stays even, but the soil around the peel still behaves differently. It stays moist longer than the rest of the pot, which can be helpful in dry climates, but risky in wet ones. By day 20, I'm already taking careful notes on leaf color. A slight yellowing tint begins to show on older leaves in the chopped peel group. It's subtle, but it could mean those microbes are still borrowing nitrogen to break down the peel. The baseline group has no yellowing at all. The whole peel group has a tiny bit of yellowing, but not as much as the chopped peel one. This hints that chopped peels break down faster and demand more nitrogen up front, which leaves the plant with less until the peel is fully decomposed. Next, I begin watching for soil structure changes. In the chopped peel container, the top inch of soil feels a little fluffier than usual, which tells me the microbes are active and air pockets are forming as the peel breaks down. That's usually a good sign. But deeper in, moisture holds longer than before. The whole peel container shows a more dramatic pocket effect. When I gently press near where I buried the peel, I feel a slight softness that isn't present anywhere else in the pot. If a peel decomposes in a tight clump, it can leave behind a cavity, and roots may avoid the area. This can lead to uneven growth. As we near the end of the first 30 days, I begin to measure growth more precisely. The baseline plants grow at a steady and predictable pace. The chopped peel plants shoot ahead, but then show mild unevenness in leaf size. The whole peel plants grow in a smooth arc, neither too fast nor too slow, but their roots still curve around the peel zone. That root behavior becomes one of the strangest long-term results. You might think roots would treat the peel like soft compost, but until the peel totally breaks down, it acts more like a sponge than a soil amendment. By the halfway mark, we have enough early clues to guess where the next 30 days will lead, but the real answers show up only when the plants hit maturity and reveal how the soil handled the long-term presence of that peel. This is where the experiment shifts into the part that surprises most gardeners. When day 30 passes, the experiment enters the stage where real differences show themselves. This is when slow changes inside the soil finally start affecting what we see above the soil line. I begin the second month by watering all 3 groups on the same morning and watching how fast each container dries. The baseline container dries at its usual pace. The chopped peel container holds water longer than before, and you can feel a soft, almost spongy quality in the top layer. The whole peel container holds even more water in the area where the peel sits. When I lift the pot, there's a noticeable weight difference that tells me that part of the soil stays wetter for longer. This isn't always bad, but it matters because too much water around the peel slows the breakdown process even more. Meanwhile, the plants tell their own story. The chopped peel plants now show stronger top growth than either of the other groups. Their leaves look large and bold, and from a distance, they seem like the clear winners. But when I look closer, I see tiny clues that point in a different direction. Some leaves still show faint yellowing along the edges, and a couple of the lower leaves develop slight curling. These are small signs of uneven nutrient availability. The plants look energetic, but they're working harder than they should. Microbes still chew through the peel pieces, and they still borrow nitrogen from the soil to do it. When they finally release the nutrients locked inside the peels, the plants will benefit, but this takes time. And until that moment arrives, the plants move through a bit of nutritional stress. The baseline group continues growing with a calm, predictable pace. Their leaves stay balanced in size and color. There's something peaceful about plants that grow without surprises. They don't give you big leaps, but they also don't give you odd dips or swings. When I compare them to the chopped peel group now, I can see that the baseline plants look more stable, even though they're not the tallest. The whole peel group, on the other hand, shows a slight slowdown. Their stems look sturdy, but their new leaves appear a little smaller than before. The soil still reacts differently around the buried peel, which affects the way roots explore that area. Around day 40, decomposition enters a new phase. The chopped peel pieces now look mushy and blend into the soil almost completely. When I gently scratch the surface, I barely find any recognizable peel. They're nearly gone. Microbial activity remains high, and the soil feels springy and alive. Meanwhile, the whole peel softens more, and its edges begin to fray, but its central portion still holds shape. It looks like a soft strip of plant material rather than compost. This slow decay becomes one of the biggest surprises for many gardeners. Banana peels don't break down fast when buried whole. They can sit for weeks or even months before disappearing. This can create pockets and barriers that roots need to navigate around. Next, I begin examining root behavior again. I do this very lightly by peeking along the inner wall of clear containers used only for observation. In the chopped peel soil, roots spread beautifully. They branch and reach outward in all directions, weaving through the soil like threads. In the baseline soil, the root growth looks similarly even, though not as dense, which makes sense because the chopped peel soil holds a little more life and microbe activity. But the whole peel soil shows something different. Many roots still avoid the exact space where the peel rests. Roots prefer consistent soil texture. When they hit something that feels rubbery or overly moist, they turn aside even if there's no danger. It's like walking through a room and suddenly finding a soft cushion in the middle of the floor. Most of us would step around it instinctively. As the experiment moves into the mid-40s, the chopped peel container finally catches up nutritionally. The microbes finish their intense burst of activity and start releasing nitrogen again. The plants respond fast. Their new leaves grow greener than before, and the slate curl disappears. This is the moment many gardeners notice when they say banana peels feed their plants. They do, but only after the breakdown is complete. Before that, the process works in the opposite direction. The whole peel plants don't experience the same wave of nutrients at this point because their peel breaks down more slowly. They still get benefits, but those benefits come much later. Around day 50, pest activity shifts. The small cloud of fungus gnats that hovered near the chopped peel container begins to fade. The soil dries more evenly now because the peel pieces have disappeared. Stronger airflow around the soil helps reduce gnat activity. The whole peel container now attracts 1 or 2 fruit flies. They show up near the moist pocket that still surrounds the peel, but they don't linger long because the peel is too deeply buried for easy access. The baseline container remains clean, which shouldn't surprise anyone. Nothing in that soil invites pests. By day 55, I start checking for structural changes in the whole peel container again. With my fingertips, I feel a small hollow forming where the peel used to hold shape. As the last thick parts soften, the soil around it settles in. This can be helpful if you're trying to improve clay soil or heavy soil outdoors, but inside containers, it creates uneven layers. When roots run into a hollow, they sometimes pause or redirect. Outdoors, earthworms and insects fill those gaps quickly, mixing everything into a smooth blend. Indoors or in containers, you don't get as much natural mixing, so that gap can stick around for a while. Meanwhile, the plants near the end of the 60-day run start showing their final personalities. The chopped peel plants grow tall and leafy, but their stems look a bit elongated, almost stretched. That tells me they may be pushing top growth faster than root development early on. When nutrients finally become available, the plants rush upward. The baseline plants look balanced, with steady stems and evenly spaced leaves. They may not grab attention, but they look easygoing and dependable. The whole peel plants grow well too, but their shape looks slightly uneven. One side of some plants grows marginally shorter or fuller, depending on where the peel sat under the soil. This doesn't harm the plant, but it shows how a single buried object can influence growth patterns. As day 60 arrives, I take final measurements. The chopped peel plants often appear the largest, but their early stress shows in the form of uneven leaf size and thin lower stems. The baseline plants remain the most stable. The whole peel plants look healthy, but the slow decay of that peel means the benefits don't fully reach them within the 60-day window. Some gardeners might think that means whole peels don't help at all, but the truth is they act on a different timeline. They enrich the soil eventually, but they don't offer a fast boost. By the end of this portion of the experiment, one thing becomes clear. Banana peels do affect plant growth, but not in the simple, effortless way many garden myths suggest. They change moisture levels, shift nutrient timing, attract or repel pests depending on conditions, and even reshape how roots spread through the soil. The next part of the journey digs even deeper into what all this means for real gardens, how to use peels without harming plants, and why timing becomes the most important piece of this whole conversation.
When the experiment ends, it's tempting to call one method the winner. But gardening rarely works in black and white, and banana peels are no exception. The 60-day test shows that the way you use the peel matters more than the peel itself. In a real garden, conditions shift from day to day, and every shift changes how organic matter breaks down. So instead of looking for a simple yes or no, it helps to think about timing, placement, and what your plants actually need at each moment. When you add chopped banana peels to the soil, they behave like any fast-decaying organic material. They attract microbial life right away, and the microbes start working hard. This is great for soil health in the long run because soils with active microbes tend to breathe better and feed plants more effectively. But there's a trade-off many gardeners overlook. Microbes need nitrogen to fuel their breakdown process. Plants need nitrogen too. When both compete for the same nutrient, plants can show stress, especially in the early phase. This explains the yellowing leaves we saw earlier. It doesn't mean the peel harms the plant, it just means the timing of nutrient release matters. Meanwhile, chopped peels shine when used outdoors in garden beds, where the soil is deeper and more diverse. Out there, microbes, earthworms, and insects break down material with far more consistency. That means the nitrogen dip is often smaller and shorter. In containers, chopped peels work too, but you must pay closer attention to watering. Because the soil sits in a closed space, moisture hangs around longer, and chopped peels can hold water like little sponges. If your container soil already tends to stay wet, chopped peels make that worse. If your soil dries too fast, the extra moisture can actually help. This is where knowing your soil becomes more important than knowing any banana peel trick. Whole peels tell a different story. They break down so slowly that many gardeners never see the results they expect. When you bury an entire peel, you create a long strip of organic material with thick fibers that microbes must chew through in layers. That takes time, sometimes months. In the 60-day experiment, the peel still wasn't fully gone. This delay can frustrate gardeners who expect a fast nutrient release. However, whole peels still help under the right conditions. They gently loosen soil over time and create organic pockets that earthworms love. Outdoors, earthworms drag pieces into their tunnels and mix them deeper. Indoors, whole peels are usually less helpful because the soil stays too uniform and roots have nowhere to work around the peel. Next, let's talk about roots again. Roots tell the whole story of plant health. They search for stability. They want consistent texture and predictable moisture. When a whole peel sits in the soil, it creates a soft, wet patch that roots avoid until it fully breaks down. This does not harm the plant, but it does delay root expansion. For plants that rely on rapid root establishment, like annual vegetables, this delay matters. If you're growing tomatoes, peppers, or herbs, whole peels slow them down instead of helping them. If you bury peels outdoors in perennial beds where plants grow for years, the slow release might actually benefit long-term soil structure more than anything else.
We also need to talk about pests, because no gardener wants to invite them by accident. Chopped peels can attract fungus gnats if the soil stays too wet. These gnats don't kill plants, but they annoy gardeners and slow root development. Fruit flies show up when peels sit near the surface, or when you water too lightly and leave parts of the peel exposed. Whole peels also attract pests, but usually less so if buried deep enough. The trick here isn't avoiding banana peels. The trick is understanding moisture control. Keep the soil evenly moist but not soggy, and you reduce pest risks dramatically. Another important discovery is how banana peels affect soil pH. Many gardeners assume banana peels make soil more acidic because of their sweetness or their association with tropical fruit. But the truth is, banana peels fall close to neutral pH when fully decomposed. They don't push soil toward acid or alkaline conditions in any significant way. This helps because it means you can use them in most soils without worrying about pH swings. Meanwhile, potassium is the nutrient everyone talks about with banana peels. Gardeners believe that bananas equal potassium, and that potassium equals strong blooms in fruit. This idea has truth in it, but also misunderstandings. Banana peels do contain potassium, but the release is slow and gentle. That's why the chopped peel plants only began showing real benefit late in the experiment. Potassium helps plants handle stress, fight disease, and build stronger stems. But the amount released from 1 or 2 peels won't transform your garden overnight. It's more like a background boost that supports long-term soil fertility. Next, let's talk about alternatives. Not everyone wants to chop peels or bury them whole. There are other ways to use them that avoid the problems we saw in the experiment. Some gardeners dry and grind their peels into a powder. That powder breaks down fast but doesn't create moisture pockets or pest issues. Others create banana peel tea by soaking peels in water for several days. The tea supplies a mild potassium boost without altering soil structure. These methods work well, but they must be used lightly because the nutrients are still gentle and not strong enough to replace balanced fertilizer. The final takeaway from this section is simple. Banana peels can be helpful, but only when used with intention. If your soil needs structure, whole peels work outdoors. If your plants need a soft nutritional lift later in the season, chopped peels can help. But if your garden needs fast results, or if you're working in containers, you should think twice. The key is matching the peel to the plant, the soil, and the timing. That's how you turn a simple kitchen scrap into a real garden tool without falling into common myths or quick fix promises.
When gardeners first hear that banana peels come with trade-offs, many worry they should stop using them altogether. But the goal isn't to avoid them. The goal is to use them in a way that helps your soil instead of surprising it. So here we walk through what actually works in real home gardens, without hype and without the shortcuts that lead to problems later. When you work in containers, you need the most caution. Containers behave differently from garden beds because they trap moisture, limit airflow, and hold only a small amount of soil. When you add chopped peels to container soil, they break down fast, which sounds helpful at first, but the breakdown changes moisture levels for weeks. If you already struggle with wet soil or fungus gnats, chopped peels make that worse. Meanwhile, whole peels in containers break down so slowly that they create damp pockets that roots avoid. This slows early growth and makes the soil feel inconsistent. That's why the safest way to use banana peels in containers is to process them before adding them. Dry them, grind them, or compost them first. These methods release nutrients slowly without creating pockets, pests, or nitrogen dips. When you work in raised beds or open soil, you have more flexibility. The soil in garden beds breathes more easily and dries at a more natural pace. Earthworms and insects pull organic matter deeper, mix it with surrounding soil, and keep air moving through the top layers. This means chopped peels rarely cause moisture imbalance, and whole peels don't sit untouched for as long. If your soil feels heavy, sticky, or compacted, burying a whole peel every few feet helps gently loosen the structure over time. You won't see fast results, but in a few months, the soil becomes softer and easier to work with. Chopped peels work even faster. They feed microbes, attract worms, and add small amounts of potassium and calcium. They won't replace compost, but they support it. However, you still need good timing.
Adding chopped peels right before planting is risky because the early nitrogen dip can stunt young seedlings. If you want fast growth in the early season, add chopped peels a few weeks before the plants go in. This gives microbes time to finish the early breakdown and start releasing nutrients again. If you're adding whole peels outdoors, place them deeper in the soil so roots don't run into them during their early growth stage. When roots hit a soft, decomposing patch too soon, they turn aside. But when they hit it months later, they find a nutritious, well-blended area instead. That timing makes the difference between slowed root growth and stronger long-term soil health. Next, we should talk about watering, because it decides whether banana peels become helpful or problematic. When the soil stays too wet, decomposition slows down. That keeps peels intact longer, holds moisture around the root zone, and invites pests. When the soil stays too dry, decomposition stalls too, and the peels simply sit there doing nothing. The goal is even moisture. Water deeply, then let the top inch of soil dry before watering again. This rhythm keeps microbes active and prevents the soggy pockets we saw in the experiment. If you garden in a very humid region, chopped peels may hold too much water. If you garden in a dry region, they may help retain moisture during heat waves. Knowing your local climate helps you decide which method works best. Now, let's think about the kinds of plants that actually benefit from banana peels. Plants that grow slowly or spend years in the same soil, like shrubs, perennials, and fruit trees, love slow organic matter. Whole peels become part of that long, gradual enrichment. But fast annuals like lettuce, herbs, beans, and cucumbers don't wait around for nutrients to release. They want balanced, predictable soil from the start. If you bury whole peels near fast annuals, you slow them down. Chopped peels may still work, but only if you mix them in early enough. Meanwhile, heavy feeders like tomatoes and peppers enjoy potassium but need nitrogen first. Since banana peels don't offer much nitrogen, you can't rely on them alone. They support growth, but they don't drive it. Think of peels as an assistant, not the main fertilizer. Another factor gardeners don't always consider is temperature. Warm soil speeds up decomposition. Cool soil slows it down. Peels buried in early spring might still be mostly intact by early summer. Peels buried in midsummer disappear quickly. This is why tining matters so much. When you add chopped peels during warm months, plants benefit sooner. When you bury whole peels in cold soil, they sit still for ages. If you want fast action in spring, process your peels first. If you're working late in the season, whole peels become slow-release organic matter that benefit next year's garden. Microbial diversity also shapes the outcome. In rich, healthy soil filled with worms and organic debris, banana peels disappear quickly. In poor or sandy soil with little life, decomposition slows down dramatically. If your soil lacks organic matter, start with compost to boost microbial activity before adding peels. Compost creates the foundation that lets banana peels break down properly. Think of compost as the soil's stomach. Without it, even simple scraps digest slowly. Some gardeners bury peels near specific plants to target nutrients. Roses, for example, enjoy potassium, and some rose growers swear by banana peels. But the benefit comes from long-term organic matter, not instant fertilizer. A whole peel placed too close to a rosebush trunk can create moisture pockets that lead to rot. A chopped peel spread lightly under mulch works better. Tomato growers sometimes bury peels directly beneath seedlings, hoping for stronger fruiting. But the early nitrogen dip and root detour make this less helpful than many expect. A composted peel, however, blends well and avoids these issues. Finally, there's a simple but often overlooked truth. Banana peels only help when the rest of the garden routine already works well. Healthy watering habits, balanced fertilizer, good soil structure, and proper spacing matter more than any single organic addition. A banana peel won't fix poor soil, cure disease, or replace a feeding schedule. But when everything else is steady, a banana peel becomes one more gentle layer in a deeper, richer soil ecosystem. Before we move on, here's a quick pause. If you're enjoying this deep dive and it's helping you understand your soil a little bit better, feel free to like the video and subscribe to Rootly Gardening. It helps the channel grow and it lets me keep sharing calm, practical experiments like this one. Let's get right back to it. Now, here's where the experiment reveals something almost no one talks about. When a banana peel breaks down, it doesn't decay evenly from the outside in. Instead, it collapses in layers, almost like folded fabric slowly softening. This matters because each layer holds moisture differently. The outer layer dries faster, while the inner fibers stay wet long after the rest of the soil dries. That uneven moisture pocket creates tiny shifts in temperature, airflow, and microbial activity right around the peel. Most gardeners never notice this because it happens underground, but plants feel it. Roots sense these micropockets and respond by slowing down, turning aside, or branching in unexpected ways. When I dig into the soil after the 60-day run, the chopped peels are almost invisible. They melt into the soil and feed microbes evenly. But the whole peel still shows this layered texture. You can pinch it between your fingers, and it feels like softened leather. That toughness explains why roots keep skirting around it for so long. Even when the peel looks half gone on the outside, the center holds together. This slow, layered breakdown is the secret that changes everything about how banana peels behave in soil. Meanwhile, another surprising detail appears when you smell the soil. The chopped peel soil smells rich and earthy because microbes finish their cycle and return nitrogen to the soil. The whole peel soil still smells slightly sweet. That sweetness means the peel holds on to its sugars longer, which keeps microbial activity high but uneven. It's not dangerous, but it changes how nutrients move. Plants don't absorb nutrients in a smooth, predictable flow. Instead, they get little waves of potassium as each softened layer releases its minerals over time. Next, I test moisture movement in the soil. When I water all containers evenly, the chopped peel soil absorbs water quickly and spreads it across the whole pot. The peel pieces have already broken down, so nothing interrupts the flow. The whole peel container pulls water toward the peel first, almost like a sponge. This pull changes how far water reaches before the soil dries. The top may look dry, but the zone around the peel stays damp. If you garden in a humid place or keep your plants indoors, this moisture imbalance becomes important. It can lead to root slowdown, gnat activity, or slow decomposition of the peel itself. As the peel finally collapses late in the process, the soil fills in the hollow it leaves behind. This creates a sudden improvement in airflow and moisture movement. Plants respond by expanding their roots into this new space. But because it happens late, usually weeks after planting, the improvement doesn't help early growth. Instead, it supports long-term soil building. This is why whole peels work better in perennial beds than in containers or fast annual beds. Their benefits arrive at the right time for long-term plants, not quick crops. Meanwhile, I discover something else when comparing root thickness. The chopped peel plants produce fine, delicate roots early on, then thicker feeder roots later. This creates a balanced root system, but the whole peel plants produce thicker roots earlier because they push harder to explore the soil between obstacles. These thicker roots help anchor the plant well, but they don't branch as evenly. When the peel finally breaks down fully, the roots spread into the space, but the early root architecture stays uneven. The final piece of this overlooked detail comes from observing soil temperature. Organic matter warms slightly as it breaks down. Chopped peels create a small, even warmth through the soil, which encourages consistent growth. Whole peels create a small, warm line around the peel itself. That warm streak can create a tiny microclimate underground. Again, it's not harmful, but it shapes how roots behave. If your plant likes warm soil, like peppers, it may enjoy this. If it prefers cooler soil, like lettuce, it may slow down. So the secret is simple but powerful. Banana peels don't break down in a smooth, even way. They collapse in layers. That layered decay changes moisture, airflow, temperature, root direction, and nutrient timing. Once you understand this, you start to see the peel not as a magic fertilizer, but as a slow-moving soil ingredient with its own personality. When you match that personality to the right soil, the right plant, and the right moment, your garden benefits much more than it would from tossing peels in at random. Now that you've seen what really happens underground, you can start using banana peels in a way that works with your soil instead of against it. If you want one simple step to try next, add your peels to a small compost container or dry them before using them. This gives you the benefits without the moisture pockets or the early nutrient dips. Then, test the soil with one plant and watch how it responds. You'll learn more from that one plant than from any garden myth. I'd love to hear where you're watching from or what your own experience with banana peels has been. Every climate and soil type behaves a little differently, so your observations help other gardeners too. And if you want the perfect next topic, check out my deep dive on improving soil with kitchen scraps the right way. It connects directly with what we covered today and helps you turn everyday waste into steady, reliable plant food. Thanks for spending this time with me in the garden.